Years ago, right in this room you're in now, a Muslim wonder worker performed 4 miracles in front of me. It's a long story. The wonder worker's name was Afzal Khan. He gained his amazing powers after meeting a Hindu yogi by chance. One day when Afzal was a young boy in a small village in eastern Bengal, a dusty Hindu yogi asked him, "Son, I'm thirsty. Get me some water." Afzal replied, "Master, I'm a Muslim. How could you, a Hindu, accept a drink from me?" The holy man said, "Your honesty makes me happy, my child. I don't follow the strict rules that separate people. Go, bring me water quickly." Afzal obeyed with respect, and the yogi gave him a loving look in return. The yogi said seriously, "You have good karma from your past lives. I'm going to teach you a yoga method that will give you control over an invisible realm. The great powers you'll gain must be used for good purposes. Never use them selfishly. But I can also see that you have some harmful tendencies from your past. Don't let them grow by doing more bad things. Your past karma is complicated, so you need to use this life to balance your yoga abilities with helping humanity." After teaching the amazed boy a complicated technique, the master disappeared. Afzal faithfully practiced his yoga exercises for 20 years. His miraculous powers started to attract a lot of attention. It seemed that he was always accompanied by a spirit he called Hazrat. This invisible being could grant any wish Afzal had. Despite his master's warning, Afzal started to misuse his powers. Whatever he touched and put back would soon disappear without a trace. This made Afzal an unwanted guest. He would visit large jewelry stores in Calcutta and pretend to be a potential buyer. Any jewel he touched would vanish shortly after he left the shop. Afzal was often surrounded by hundreds of students who were eager to learn his secrets. Sometimes he would invite them to travel with him. At the train station, he would touch a roll of tickets and then return them to the clerk saying, "I've changed my mind and won't buy them now." But when he boarded the train with his group, Afzal somehow had the tickets they needed. These actions caused a lot of anger. Bengali jewelers and ticket sellers were having nervous breakdowns. The police tried to arrest Afzal, but they couldn't. The wonder worker could just ask Hazrat to make the evidence disappear by saying, "Hazrat, take this away." One day a friend of mine who got to know Afzal invited him to this very room where he lived. My friend also invited about 20 neighbors, including me. I was young back then and was very curious about this famous wonder worker. I made sure not to wear anything valuable. Afzal looked at me closely and then said, "You have strong hands. Go downstairs to the garden, find a smooth stone, write your name on it with chalk, and throw the stone as far as you can into the Ganges." I did as he asked. As soon as the stone disappeared under the distant waves, the wonder worker told me, "Get a pot of water from the Ganges near the front of this house." I brought back a pot of water and the wonder worker said, "Hazrat, put the stone in the pot." The stone appeared immediately. I pulled it out of the pot and found that my name was still clearly written on it. One of my friends in the room, Babu, was wearing a heavy antique gold watch and chain. The wonder worker looked at them with a suspiciously admiring glance. Soon, they were missing. Babu, nearly crying, begged, "Afzal, please return my treasured heirloom." The wonder worker remained silent for a while, then said, "You have 500 rupees in an iron safe. Bring them to me, and I'll tell you where to find your watch and chain." The distressed Babu quickly left for his home. He returned shortly and handed Afzal the money. The wonder worker then instructed Babu, "Go to the small bridge near your house. Call on Hazrat to return your watch and chain." Babu rushed away. When he came back, he was smiling with relief but no longer wearing any jewelry. He announced, "When I called on Hazrat as instructed, my watch and chain fell from the air into my right hand. I made sure to lock them in my safe before coming back here." Babu's friends, who had witnessed the bizarre situation of having to pay to get his watch back, were glaring at Afzal with anger. The wonder worker then spoke in a calming manner. "Please tell me any drink you want. Hazrat will provide it." Several people asked for milk, others for fruit juices. I wasn't too surprised when the nervous Babu requested whiskey. The wonder worker gave an order, and Hazrat sent sealed containers flying through the air and landing with a thud on the floor. Each person found the drink they had asked for. The promise of the fourth spectacular miracle of the day was probably pleasing to our host. Afzal offered to provide an instant lunch. "Let's order the most expensive dishes," Babu suggested sadly. "I want a fancy meal for my 500 rupees. Everything should be served on gold plates." After everyone had said what they wanted, the wonder worker called on the ever-helpful Hazrat. A loud noise followed, and gold platters filled with intricately prepared curries, hot luchis, and many out-of-season fruits landed out of nowhere at our feet. All the food was delicious. After eating for an hour, we started to leave the room. A loud clattering noise, as if dishes were being stacked up, made us turn around. To our surprise, there was no sign of the glittering plates or the food we had just eaten. I never saw Afzal again after that day, but a few years later, Babu came to my home to show me a newspaper article about the wonder worker's public confession. From it, I learned about Afzal's early initiation from a Hindu guru. The main part of the published confession went like this: "I, Afzal Khan, am writing these words as an act of penance and to warn those who seek miraculous powers. For years, I have misused the wonderful abilities given to me through the grace of God and my master. I became arrogant, thinking I was above the normal rules of morality. My day of reckoning finally came. Recently, I met an old man on a road outside Calcutta. He was limping along painfully, carrying a shiny object that looked like gold. Greedily, I asked him, 'I am Afzal Khan, the great wonder worker. What do you have there?' The old man replied, 'This ball of gold is my only material possession. It should be of no interest to a wonder worker. Please, sir, heal my limp.' I touched the gold ball and walked away without answering. The old man hobbled after me. Soon he cried out, 'My gold is gone!' As I ignored him, he suddenly spoke in a loud, powerful voice that seemed out of place for his weak body. 'Do you not recognize me?' I stood there shocked, realizing too late that this unimpressive old man was actually the great saint who, many years ago, had taught me yoga. He straightened himself, and his body instantly became strong and youthful. My guru's eyes were blazing as he said, 'I see with my own eyes that you use your powers not to help suffering humanity, but to prey on it like a common thief. I am taking away your gifts. Hazrat is now free from you. You will no longer be a terror in Bengal.' I desperately called on Hazrat, but for the first time he didn't appear to me. Instead, a dark veil was lifted inside me, and I saw clearly how wrong my life had been. I fell at my guru's feet crying, 'My master, thank you for coming to end my long delusion. I promise to give up my worldly ambitions. I will go to the mountains to meditate on God alone, hoping to atone for my evil past.' My guru looked at me with silent compassion and said, 'I believe you are sincere. Because of your earlier years of strict obedience and your current repentance, I will grant you one favor. Your other powers are now gone, but whenever you need food and clothing, you may still call on Hazrat to provide them. Dedicate yourself fully to understanding the divine in the mountain solitude.' Then my guru disappeared, leaving me alone with my tears and thoughts. Farewell, world. I am going to seek forgiveness from the cosmic beloved."